My name is Jerome. I've been in Singapore for the last 25 years. It's home. I'm married to Susan. And yes, I've been happy so far. And talking about Parkinson, I found out that I had Parkinson 2 years ago. At first, I couldn't believe it. I have a friend, a doctor's friend, who told me, "You are shaking a bit, you should see a neurologist." That was in France. And then I saw 3 neurologists, and they all said the same thing, so I had to make my mind about it.
I'm Susan, Jerome's wife, and I'm a nurse by profession, and I run a social enterprise, ECI Consulting Holdings. I used to focus a lot more on dementia. So in ECI, we believe in nurturing happy individuals, healthy organizations, and inclusive society. But we used to focus a lot more on dementia. And when Jerome is being diagnosed, the doctor said, "I think maybe you should focus your research on Parkinson's now." And so I started to find out a little more about Parkinson's and how to live well with Parkinson's, and yeah.
As I mentioned the first time, you really find about your condition, and it takes time before you totally make your mind about it. It takes a few months, I would say. And Susan has been very helpful and trying to support me as much as possible. And one day she was browsing on internet, and she found out that there was a lot of experiments or research going on in the United States about boxing and Parkinson. Boxing being a way to gather people in a community, and at the same time the activity is very helpful for your condition, for my condition. So the only issue was we couldn't find that in Singapore. It wasn't available. We looked around Asia, it was the same, besides Japan, and we said, okay, why not trying to bring that in Singapore if we can. So we looked around and we found some people who were willing to open their facility and cooperate with us. So we embark on a program last August. It was very exciting. I mean, doing something new and challenging yourself and trying to control your body and your symptoms, your motor functions. It's challenging. Boxing really helped me, and I'm still in the acquisition stage, I would say, for the skills. It helps my balance, it helps my mobility, it helps my speed, because we are very slow. And also, I would say it helps also for my stiffness, cramps. And more important of all, it helps me with my concentration, my focus, because when you do boxing, you have to be focused. Unlike running or jogging or cycling, where your mind can wander around, in boxing you really have to be focused. And that's very challenging for us, people suffering from Parkinson. In a way, the research has been quite disappointing on Parkinson treatment for the last 50 years, since the 60s or the 70s. So everybody has been trying as much as they could, but unfortunately we are still with the same drug as in the 60s or the 70s. So anything which can make it work better is welcome. I had no idea of Parkinson before, and I was a bit surprised the way my life is going on the medical side. Is I just have to make an appointment 6 months later with my neurologist. He will check my symptoms, adjust my medication, and fix another appointment for the next 6 months. It makes me wondering how in a half an hour you can diagnose or take into account what has been happening for the last 6 months and just, adjust the medication you should take. So I wasn't comfortable. The first time we came out of a doctor's appointment, I told Suzanne, I don't know about France, but I'm quite disappointed with Singapore. And she told me, okay, let's go to see another person. I mean, another specialist is here. And he was better because psychologically he was making more sense to me, but the methodology was the same. I would be assessed by a professional nurse for 20 minutes, and I would step in his consultancy, and he will talk to me, and then we would together adjust the treatment that I was taking or considering to change the treatment. When I heard about your wearable and your AI, I think it made total sense, because my symptom is shaking. So if I can know more about it as a person, as a patient, I would be happy to take that into consideration. Just at the moment, I mean, my medication can be quite flexible in the prescription time. I mean, I can take it at 8 o'clock in the morning, at 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't see much difference. But if it has some consequences on my shaking, I would be more than happy to adjust it. And if Orbit can do that for me, I'm happy to try. Yeah.
Yeah, evidence-based practice is important, and if we can find evidence, then
yes.
Yeah, you know. But if we cannot find evidence, how can we claim that something is working or something is exactly. Not working? Yeah.
Honestly, I don't see any silver lining, except that you have to reframe your mind and go around it and reorganize your life around it. For people working, for people who have some situation where they are stuck with their disease, they have to reframe and look at the bright side of and try to see the positive side of it, because there are positive sides. We reorganized our life, and we decided to be more home-based. I stopped working. We are waiting for the situation COVID to be over, to travel again and do things while we can.
For people living with Parkinson's, is really to keep active, try new things. There's a lot of things that you can do to elevate your symptoms, to improve your symptoms, improve your quality of life. Don't get cooped up at home. If you feel sorry for yourself, if you feel victimized, then you are actually changing yourself short, because you can still live a very full life. I mean, last Saturday, somebody at the Parkinson Society just talked about climbing Mount Everest with Parkinson's. Yeah, so it's possible if you think that it's possible, but if you think that it's not possible, then it's probably not possible. It's all in the mind.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, so try new things and keep your hobbies going, and look for new experience, so challenge yourself and reframe your mind and look at the bright side of life, because there are still some bright sides.
And I think it's important not to ask people to excuse you for your motor symptoms, but actually to tell people that you have these symptoms because of this disease, and that's part of you now. And so if they like to socialize with you, they have to accept it. It's just like in my dementia education program, I always tell people that, you know, but the person who has this forgetfulness and this particular symptoms is, it used to be, is your mother, is your father, and that's part of them now. And so you got to embrace that as part of them, and you cannot separate them and say that that's not them anymore, because it is still them. And the fact that they have all these symptoms is not by choice. They choose to have these symptoms, but because part of their brain is impaired, and therefore they have these symptoms. And so, yeah, so you have to embrace them and embrace the symptoms.